Hello, my name is Joseph Williams. My project is called Meal Buddy, and the goal for this project is to help users plan their meals. Um, so here's a high-level overview of the system design. You have a main application, and um, the main application provides a user interface through which users can call four APIs. So the base calorie API and the exercise calorie API are custom APIs I built for this project, and the Spoonacular and Google Sheets API are existing APIs. The purpose of the base calorie API is to accept user biometric information and use that information to estimate estimate a baseline number of calories the user burns each day based on things like height and weight. And then the exercise calorie API contains a list of the rates at which calories are burned when people perform different exercises, so like lifting weights or doing yoga, things like that. And so the base calorie API and exercise API data is combined to provide an estimate of how many calories a user burns in a given day. And then, so that's sort of the calorie side of this application. And then the other major component of the application is the meal planning component. So using the Spoonacular API, the user is able to generate a random meal, and then if they're satisfied with that meal, they can use the Google spreadsheet API to export the ingredient information to a spreadsheet so they can make shopping for those ingredients more convenient. And if they're not satisfied, then they can just generate another random meal until they're happy with it. So now I'm going to do a quick demonstration of the live application. So this is the user interface, and the top half is where you generate your meals. And so if we pull a random meal, you have a screenshot and a link to the recipe, and if you're not happy with it, you can request another meal. And then once you're satisfied, you can pull up the link, and if you're convinced that that's a good choice, then you can export the meal to the spreadsheet you see on the right side of the screen. So let's do that. And yeah, so you can see the spreadsheet is dynamically populated with the meal information. And then the second half of the application allows you to estimate the number of calories you burn. And I'll just put in some random data. And then 30 minutes of weightlifting for a 6-foot-tall male. We'll take a look at that. And so the estimate is 1,837 calories. And so that's an estimate of how many calories you need to consume in a given day to maintain your body weight. And so the last thing I'll quickly run through are a couple code snippets. And so here's an example of the code that calls the Google Sheet API. And above I have the references I used when I was putting this project together. And then so that's an example of a call to an existing API, and then here's a call from the same main Meal Buddy application to my custom SOAP API. So here you have the SOAP formatted user biometric data that's sent to the SOAP server I created. And then on the right side, this is some code from the SOAP server, and it's pretty simple. It just takes the data from the request and creates the baseline calorie estimate for the user and returns that information. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.